We're back on your favourite local radio station talking to the biggest stars today, and I'm so pleased to welcome Connie Fisher. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you, Alex.
It's really nice to talk to you. I'll tell you why. I saw your show, The Sound of Music, at the Palladium the other day. You know when you're in the presence of a star. Denise Van Outen's got it. Maz Murray's got it in We Will Rock You. There aren't many people who stick out in musical theatre, and I think that's probably the reason that you won the competition you did on the BBC. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Are you enjoying it?
Immensely. Actually, I've been doing it for a year now, and actually this week in the show we're having a cake to commemorate a year in The Sound of Music. So who can complain if you're eating cake? Love cake. So it's been awesome. It's been such a roller coaster. You could really, I'm hoping perhaps to write a book about it, because it is so much to fit in a year. It's incomprehensible, really, how much I've done in a year, and the ups and the downs, and the way you're perceived by the people, not just by the audience, but by people that in the business. And to be, to think a year and a half ago I was on the outside looking in, and now I'm on the inside looking out. It's incredible. So it's such an amazing springboard and gift that I've been given. And to be in front of 3,000 people every night entertaining them, and to be acknowledged for being good at it, it's awesome. So
I'm not a big fan of these TV shows where they get people to be stars. However, when I saw you, I thought, okay, fair enough, you can do the job. You sing so beautifully. You are pitch perfect and note perfect, and really in these big theatres, especially the Palladium, you can really tell if somebody's faking it. I want to be blown away.
Of course, yeah. If you pay £55 to go and watch a show, you want your £55 worth, and obviously A, the star's got to be on, and B, they've got to be great, and that's the pressure that you feel every night. But I enjoy that pressure because I trained in musical theatre, and I trained 3 years for the love of musical theatre, and I'm so honoured and proud to be on the stage every night. And I think that shines. If you love your job, then you end up being quite good at it. So
in this show, The Sound of Music, you are literally non-stop from the beginning to the end. Yeah. How exhausted are you at the end, or does that get better now you've been doing it for a long while?
I certainly believe that, having come from drama school, it prepares you in some way, but once you're in a show, it takes you a while to build that stamina. And I wasn't quite expecting how tough the stage show was, because you watch a film and obviously it's condensed into an hour and a half, and you've got a 2.5 hour show where Maria's on 85% of the time. So, and it really is all about her, keeping the show going in some way. It's on her journey. So there's a lot of pressure to be great in every aspect of the show, and you've got to pace yourself, not just within the show, but within the week and then within the year. So enormous amount of stamina, but thankfully I love every moment, so it's a joy.
What about those 2 show days? Presumably that's the hardest day of the week for you, when you have to get up in the morning and realise that you've got to do the same thing twice. How do you psychologically cope with the fact that when you're starting the first one, you've got to do exactly the same thing just a few hours later? How do you vocally prepare for that?
I think it's like a musical phrase. You think, beyond the phrase. So you think, well, I've got to pace myself towards the very end, and you just kind of, I don't know how to put it really, but you just focus on the end of it, and the reward you get from being on stage, it just keeps you going. Obviously, I'm very lucky to be on stage, 85% of the time, and there are people who have to sit in their dressing room and come out for 3 notes, and I think, well, thank goodness I'm keeping busy, because when you keep busy, the time flies when you're having fun.
Do you ask yourself why you? There are a million girls like you who go into these drama schools and musical schools and want to be a star, and by the age of 20 they're working in McDonalds because they've got no other skills and there are no jobs.
It's quite an incredible kind of position that I've been put in, and I never ever thought it would happen, but underlying there was an instinct in me that said you cannot give up. However long I have to work at McDonald's or Pizza Express or telesales, I'm going to keep doing it, because there was a kind of a pulling towards having to stay in the business. So I suppose, que sera, sera, what's meant to be will happen. And I do feel for all those girls who are still stuck in Pizza Express like I was. And the only advice you can say is, just climb every mountain till you find your dream, because you can't stop. You can't stop if you know your heart's in it. Okay,
but what if you haven't got the ability? Because there's so many kids. You sit on the X Factor all the time. Even in your show in the beginning, Graham loved to ridicule people who have the ultimate belief that they're as good as you, but in reality, they're not. At what point do you believe people when they go, I do something else? Or should you still keep fighting regardless?
I mean, there are some people who I don't like these TV shows like X Factor, who you go on and they make a fool of you because your dream is being shattered in front of everyone's eyes, and they completely believe that they're the best thing. And if they're tone deaf, they're tone deaf. You know, don't be a singer if you can't sing. But if you go to drama school and you get in, that's half the battle. You're recognised. And if you're recognised within your area for being a great talent, then let them give you the wings to show that on national television. And I think at first I was very sceptical at going on television, thinking, well, in my local area, everyone thinks I'm really good, and my college think I'm really good, and my agent thinks I'm great, and I'm getting to the finals, but I'm just not getting the job, however close I'm getting. So I had to take that risk. And I would say it to everyone, if you just take that risk, otherwise you won't know if you can fly or not.
And again, if this had been for another musical, you perhaps wouldn't have got it.
No, I'm quite sure if it was, Rent, I wouldn't have got it. But I knew I was right for it. And there's a weird pulling when you know you're right for something, that it kind of spurs you on to do it. I suppose it's like your job. Maybe you didn't know you'd end up where you are, but I think you always had a dream to be in it, and something would keep you going.
And if you love it, that's what keeps you going as well.
I love it.
Even at this point, you could leave this show tomorrow and there's nothing else for you because there isn't something that's suitable for your voice or your look or your height. It's such a horrible, horrible business, isn't it? Where I've seen those brilliant stars suddenly out of work and there's nowhere for them to go.
That is the roller coaster that every actor faces, and however talented you are, you have to have that inner belief, but not arrogance. There's a fine line between confidence and arrogance, and there's an inner confidence that every actor should have in themselves, knowing that they've got to keep going until you find the right role for you. And I knew that I wasn't right for half of the things I was going for, even though I get to the finals, she's got a good voice or she's got the right look. I probably didn't look right for anything and look a bit odd, like a pixie. And I realised that, I'm not blonde and long-legged. I wouldn't fit in the ensemble. And I had to wait for the right thing. And I think best things comes to those who do wait. I mean, there are times where you feel, performer, I don't know if I should go on tonight. You have a normal life until about 6 o'clock and you have to pull out something out of the bag and impress people. And you think, well, I don't go around my whole life singing notes like that, but you given it in a show, and you have to make the best of what you're given on that day to the best of your ability, give all you can give. And that's, I think, because of the love of musical theatre I have, because I love singing and I never shut up, I think that's what I get to do every night. And even though I may feel at 9 a.m. that, oh God, I've got no voice, somehow in Sound of Music, Dr. Theatre cures all, and you go on and you perform to the best of your ability.
This time of year must be difficult. It's flu season, it's cold season. Oh. Can you sing through certain illnesses? Are there certain things that you really do dread?
Yeah, absolutely. I had a chest infection not long ago, and obviously towards the beginning of my contract, that's what happened. I sang through a cold. I took some Nurofen, it raised the blood vessels, and I popped a blood vessel in my throat. What a nightmare for any singer to lose their voice. And you just can't explain that to people because you can't show them a wound or a cut that's happened to you. You can't explain, I just can't sing, because that's happened to me. Thankfully, I managed to get through it. And I think Dr. Theatre did get me through. And my love of musical theatre, I thought that was it for me. That's it. I'm gone. But thankfully, my belief in myself and everyone else believed in me. And thanks to Lloyd Webber, I was able to get it, rehabbed back to full conification again. And I'm back to full health, which is a relief and a joy as a singer with a pure quality, I think. To get your vocal folds back and healthy. And it is just a joy to be on stage again.
Help me with this thing. How long have you been doing it now?
A year and a month.
Right, a year and a month.
On stage.
How do you not go insane doing the same things 8 times a week? You've done it thousands of times and you're still looking fresh. That must be the hardest thing. Harder than even singing the songs, is it? It's
I hate to go back to this, but it's kind of your joy for it. You would think that after a while, I'm getting bored of saying this line, or I'm getting bored of singing my favourite things. I'm just not feeling so jolly today. But actually, when you're in the moment, for some reason, you keep it fresh. And you do get into a groove of saying things some way, but the kids keep it fresh. We changed kids. I've had 59 kids now in the show. So and
looking great on it.
and three captains. So I think they just keep it fresh, and new blood kind of changes your thoughts. And obviously, if someone else is saying a line with a new thought, you have a new thought, and it kind of bounces off like that. And I'm very lucky to be kind of surrounded by a wonderful cast who keep it fresh.
Are you in for this as long as they want you?
I've now said that I'm leaving on the 23rd of February to go and use this as a springboard now to go on to do something else. Obviously, I would have done it then for a year and 6 months, which is a long time. And I don't want to be cast as Maria only being able to do Maria. Obviously, I want to be Maria forever in everyone's thoughts. Connie Fisher, the girl who played Maria, brilliant. That's what I would love to be remembered as. Even on my gravestone, Connie Fisher, aka Maria, would be lovely. But I really want to spread my wings and prove to other people that I do have other abilities, and that I'd like to think that I'm a good actress and don't just sing. So
there is no question you're a great actress and a beautiful singer and a brilliant all-round performer. But again, I interview a lot of people who leave stuff that they're very successful at, then struggle to find another role just because they don't fit. So you must be aiming at something. You must have something in mind, because it's a big risk, isn't it, leaving this show?
Well, I think, you've got to leave something, however much you love it, after some time. And a year and 6 months is enough in any show. Usually star turns only ever do 6 months, like Leslie did in our show, and obviously Leslie was pulling in the people to come watch her as she was a name, and I suppose as a kind of name, if as I've been cast of television, I suppose I have a kind of name that pulling people in. I hope that those people who support me so much at Stage Door and send me lovely letters, hopefully they'll follow me on television, which I'm going to next, and I'm going to have my TV acting debut sometime next year. So that's all in the pipeline, and I would like to kind of work on my my second album and to make it a good one, because I don't think there are that many good commercial musical theatre albums, and not many people are actually given the chance to produce one, so I'd like to make it a good one. And I just feel that I've gathered so many strings to my bow, having had the Maria experience, and have found the confidence again, because when you're out of a job and you're a resting actor, you do lose confidence, and you need to cling on to that to be able to kind of add strings to your bow. And I just hope that I can play a different tune.
Very finely, what's that Graham Norton like then?
He's so funny. He's hilarious. It's awesome. And he really is like he is on television. He is really quirky. And the same with Lloyd Webber. Everyone asks me what he's like. I know you're dying to ask the question. And he is very charismatic. On and off stage, on and off the show. So I'm looking forward to the Maria Joseph Christmas special, which we're recording very soon. And it's going to be out on Christmas Eve.
Marvellous. Connie Fisher, thank you so much for talking to me. It was a true thrill to see you in the theatre. I can endorse your musical and say, go and see Connie Fisher in The Sound of Music until February. Thanks for talking to me.
Thank you, Alex.